Hey everybody, and he's back just like I thought he would be.
Part dose of Bastion.
Welcome to part 2. In this playthrough, we will be going and getting some more cores, messing some stuff up. There's a special item that you get during that little mission. If you get the Ragged Hood, or maybe if you later on there's something called a Lost and Found. If at any time you get the Ragged Hood and talk to Ruckus about it, this little guy comes out. It's very cute.
It looks like any of the other blueberries.
Yes, he's a cute, docile blueberry, though.
So you're able to build buildings here?
Oh, yeah, this is the upgrade thing that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, what's really cool is you find these weapons, and they allow you to upgrade at each level. And each level has 2 areas where you could take advantage of the upgrade. For instance, I know with... Oh, excuse me. Oh, I burped. I know with the War Machete, you could either do for instance like a poison effect kind of a thing when you attack your enemies, or you could increase the critical hit chance rate. Those kind of things. It's really cool. With further on, once you hit tier 5, sometimes they'll unlock like a special ability, and then a lot of the times there's trials in the game that I'll unlock, but unfortunately I had some problems recording them, so you won't be able to see me complete the trials, but you will be able to see the rewards of the trials later on.
Do you show them off? Or?
Oh yeah, definitely in the... oh man, I didn't want to say, but definitely later on in the extras videos that we'll be doing later for Bastion, you'll definitely see some of those rewards, specifically my favorite one, which is for the mortar gun. Pretty awesome.
And from what I saw, did you have to find a specific item to allow the upgrade to happen, or did you just buy and then pick your upgrade?
No, you have to find... I was talking to last time about the upgrade items, the something, fill in the blanks. So, for instance, like something heavy, something stringy.
Unoriginal.
Yeah. For the War Machete, my favorite weapon, it's something sharp. My favorite one is later on at the very, very end of the game, they give you your final weapon, which I think is great. Continuously through the game, they're still throwing weapons at you. So at the very, very last level of the game, they throw at you something called the Calamity Cannon. And what's really nice about that is the upgrades for it, they're called something wrong.
You shoot it, and then you wind up at the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah, you start over
a whole new Calamity.
Every time. So don't press the B button, folks.
Now, and you said earlier that when they give you a new weapon, they kind of...
Yeah, they do. They
run you through a gauntlet?
Yeah, somewhat. They don't run you through a gauntlet, but they do force you to try it out at the very least. Some levels, they actually don't even have an arsenal where you can swap the weapon back, so you're kind of stuck with it till the rest of the end of the...
Are the levels structured in, I guess, Mega Man style, where, like this area, like what's the name of this area that we're in?
Oh god, I have no idea. I think this is like the Hanging Garden? No, that's later on. Oh god, I don't know.
But basically, like the areas that you flew, I saw that you were able to fly to the different areas. Is it structured in a way where like certain weapons do better, or is it freeform, as in like whatever weapons you get will dictate how you play?
That's where Bastion really excels. It's really up to your play style. The weapons may be easier in some places just because you need a lot of collateral damage, because there's multiple enemies on screen, or maybe that this enemy is farther away than it should be. But a lot of the weapons, especially the combos that you do, they make up for it. For instance, with the War Machete, it's a short-ranged weapon, and if for instance, you could actually have 2 melee weapons, so you could have the machete and the hammer. But what it does really nice is the weapons get mixed up. So, for example, I think, if you haven't seen it yet, or eventually it'll show up, you can actually chuck the War Machete at people by holding the B button. Hold it, he draws back, and then he just chucks it at the enemy. So, it does make up for it if, you don't have a long-range item and, you need to do long-range damage. The weapons are very balanced.
So you're always given a long-range option?
Most of the time. I will say for some of the items, like for example the hammer, you can't throw the hammer at anyone.
But is it possible to organize your weapons so that you don't have a long range, and are you screwed when the turrets show up?
Somewhat. A nice thing about it too is you always have your shield. So if you time it right, you could always send that bullet right back at the sucker and kill him.
Okay. So
you're not always at a loss, which is really nice. Right here, we're killing a greenberry.
Another greenberry.
And a rotten blueberry that turned green.
Now I'm having trouble dictating what kind of art style this is. What do you think of the art style then?
I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
It's not cell shaded.
No, definitely not.
But
It's that's what I've noticed with a lot of these indie games. They almost have an art style of their own. And I want to say indie games, like the first indie game that I could think of that hit the marketplace was Braid. You know, that rewind game and everything. And that had its own art style. You know, and then there's a lot of other games like Limbo. Nobody had ever done a game that's entirely shadows before. So with indie games, I kind of put their art styles in categories of their own, at least in my personal opinion. But this game is absolutely beautiful. The attention to detail in some of these worlds and stuff is just phenomenal. Specifically with the parts, in certain worlds, when you go to different areas, like the farther to the right, the farther east you go on the map, you know, the denser the jungle gets, kind of a thing. And then finally at the end of the game, where you're on the final levels and stuff, it's snowy. But, you know, there's still remnants of the jungle, which is really cool. You know, you see frozen plants and stuff.
It looks like, though, even though it kind of keeps the same theme of floating ground,
oh, everything.
It's very varied with its environments, at least so far.
Yeah,
right now we were at grasslands, I want to say grasslands anyway, to magma, like volcano area.
Oh, that's actually what you're going to see everywhere. Like I was saying earlier, that they get to a point where they kind of figure who's really survived, and they stopped looking for survivors and started looking for the cores more. And so that little cutscene, yeah, the Ruckus points out that the kid asks the question, who did survive the calamity? Fortunately, that question will be answered at the end of this video.
All right, that was easy.
Oh yeah.
And and I was a bit hazy on what exactly was it that we saw at the end of that cutscene?
So, are you talking like specifically
that
like,
thing that was floating?
That's the remnant of I guess a citizen. It's really just the ashes of someone that was affected by the calamity. It's just a little kid that's like playing with a cat, and you know he's turned to dust by the calamity.
Oh, okay.
And multi-kill.
The melting pot.
Yeah, this melting pot. This one's really melty. No, to be honest, these worlds, they might have different names and stuff like that, but one of the things that you don't really need to remember the worlds of the names, specifically because sometimes the attributes, like this one's called the melting pot, there's not a whole lot of magma here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, it seemed a bit misleading. We'll see something later, hopefully, that may be reversed, but right now I'm seeing a lot of thorn plants.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with the melting pot?
Just picked up something nasty. That's the upgrade weapon for that little like not revolver. I'm sorry, the machine gun that I picked up. This game, with at least the level designs and everything like that, each one kind of has its own characteristic. Some of them will be denser jungle. Some of them will have tall grass. Some of them will have buildings. Like this one has the thorny bushes. It adds its own flair. Like I said. With the game, the way that it's formatted, some weapons might prove more useful. Like in this one, definitely the bow would be useful because it would be able to pierce through the thorns. But obviously I didn't bring it, so I'm just, chopping it all down with the war machete.
It sounds like you picked up a trip mine. Are there like sub-items to use?
Yeah, the right trigger is those special moves that I was talking about. Some of them are varied or can be as generic as trip mines and grenades, while other ones are like special abilities that you could only use with a certain weapon equipped. Like I said, when you complete the trials, you get a special ability that you wouldn't be able to get unless you complete the trial on the perfect difficulty or whatever, or achieve the perfect rank on the trial.
I like how God just kind of UPS delivers these baddies to you.
Yeah, he's like, here you go. What's nice though, right there, you're seeing them. Some of those baddies that are dropping down, they're helping, and it actually says in the dialogue, he goes, not all of them are bad.
So yeah, that one that dropped out is just helping you.
Yeah, the ones with all the hearts on them, those are friendlies.
Does that happen often?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is godsend.
No, you're alone.
No, right now this is godsend. There are the sub items. Like there's one called a squirt lure. I used it in the previous world in the last video. you activate it, you use up one of your alcoholic beverages, and a squirt comes out to help you out. Unfortunately, with the squirts, their health is extremely limited, so they tend to die really fast.
Well, these ones are still around, and you got one of the what are those?
Miners?
Not the squirts.
Yeah.
The miners help.
They're are they windbags? Windbags, I believe. If I'm correct.
Oh, okay.
They're windbags because they're all called gas fellas.
Oh.
Yeah, they're all called gas fellas, and then there's squirts, wind fellas, and then giant blueberries.
Giant blueberries. They're never given a name.
Yeah, if they were, I never picked it up.
Or the game didn't feel the need to.
Yeah, maybe I was just too busy killing them. Just, sending them all to an early grave. But yeah, all of them in the real world had a job, so, I believe I touched it up last time, they at least the blueberries, they were the trash decomposers.
Without spoiling too much, these guys aren't the only things that we're going to be fighting.
Oh, heck no. Later on, you'll definitely see a lot more enemies, and specifically the frogs make me so angry.
That actually reminds me. The game's difficulty. How is it ramped? Is it a fairly easy game to go through?
Somewhat. It depends on the items. Like I said, the alcoholic beverages that you chug on a daily basis in this game. They're not easy to get, but the drinks, they offer special moves. One of the ones that I'm definitely going to use, it gives me an extra life. So I'll go down, and you'll see, my guy in the I'm sorry, I did the Motorola thing. I'm dead in a coffin position where he's crisscrossed with its arms, and the question is, do you want to use your drink to wake back up and continue kicking lots and lots of ass?
This is a bad message. Alcohol's fixing all this kid's problems.
Everything. What?
I hope they understood that. The guy named the kid is using alcohol to fix all their problems.
Oh yeah. What's that? You want to not die? Drink this. What? You want to do double damage when you do a counterattack? Drink this. What?
Just out of curiosity, the game doesn't punish you if you drink. Every game that has alcohol punishes you for drinking too much.
Actually, the level up system is you're only allowed to drink however many levels you are. So if you're level 1, you're only allowed 1 drink. If you're level 2, you're only allowed 2 drinks. Most drinks, and I will say 90% of them, have drawbacks to them.
Oh.
So for example, one of them may give you extra, drinking slots, while also decreasing the amount of health that it recovers. So, you'll have 2 extra potions, but they don't pack as much of a punch. Speaking of which, Squirt's Punch is my favorite alcoholic beverage. Right now, you're seeing this is the arsenal where you're able to change everything. Mirror Shield is something that you activate, and it's I think it only works for 5 seconds or something like that, but it automatically deflects everything. So you're just running around and counter.
Now we're on the hunt for more survivors / winding up with a core.
Yeah, I think, here we go. This is the Hanging Gardens. This is why this one stuck out to me in my brain. This is when you're looking around realizing, wow, everybody really is dead. Because in this level, there's nothing but dead people. You see their ashes everywhere. Is
the game dark?
Did you say? It could be at times. I mean, this is a game about the world being over. Essentially, you're playing after someone's game over. It can get a bit dark, specifically right now, and actually, yeah, pretty much the entire game's pretty dark.
Is this the darkest it's going to be?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you deal with other themes in the game, specifically things like betrayal. Spoiler alert. Betrayal happens, and everybody's awestruck by it.
Because it looks like the narrator's, I guess, reminiscing about some of these people?
Yeah, he's adding details, like this is Marge the tutor. She's somewhere in there. This is Marge the tutor. There's our first survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Zolf. This guy's seen some stuff. That's why he looks like that. Anyways, so yeah, there's some backstory that I'll go into detail later. But like I was saying, Marge the tutor, she taught the kid the manners. He never used them much though, kind of a thing. That's what he does for a lot of these. Like this is this is Greg, the kid that likes birds. You know, poor kid never saw the calamity coming. You know, those are the just kind of dialogue things that kind of occurred during this level. But it's really sad though when you're seeing, at least like physically, when you're seeing these people just frozen in time, almost Pompeii style. You know, and they're just like going about their daily routine, like they're talking to their friends, or they're loading up the cart, and they just died like that.
So the calamity happened just
in an instant, just in a snap, like that.
Oh my.
Yeah, and nobody sees it coming, and you find out more about the calamity, what caused it, and everything later on. There we go. The Johnsons, they didn't make it.
That's all we got.
Yeah, actually, this next part is, you know, they didn't make it. You know, Grady Senior, Grady Junior, they didn't make it.
The bag boy I used to talk to,
But him?
Fonz.
He didn't make it. It's just like the narrator's kind of speaking the kid's thought process at this point when he's seeing all these people that didn't survive. He's like, why did I survive? And he doesn't know either. Actually, it's never really touched up upon, except for the very first time you speak to Ruckus and you show him the city crest, and then he goes, oh, the city crest has a bit of the Bastion power. Leading you to believe that that's why he survived, because he had some of the Bastion on his crest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the core survived as well.
Oh, thank God.
Look at these people. They're like praising it.
That's not tough.
This is the one thing that I will say was kind of out of character for this level.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all of a sudden everybody's praising the core.
Is that touched up on, or is it just random religious fanaticism? We never see it again.
We'll see religion later. Anyways, everybody meets Zolf. I kind of walked around a bit, but this is him. He says, let's go. And we'll see more about him next time.
Have fun.